Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning about the basic building blocks of life, cells. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brain cells with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. There's a popular notion that your body completely replaces itself with new cells every 7 years. That would mean that you're literally a completely different person than you were 7 years ago. What do you think? Is this an actual fact or too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Today's word is organelle. That's O-R-G-A-N-E-L-L-E. An organelle is any of a number of organized or specialized structures within a living cell. You can think of organelles as a cell's tiny organs. Just as your body has organs like the heart, lungs, and liver that perform specific jobs, a cell has organelles like the nucleus, mitochondria, and ribosomes that each have a unique function to keep the cell alive and working properly. For example, the nucleus acts as the cell's brain, and the mitochondria are the power plants. The word itself actually hints at this meaning. It comes from the New Latin word organella, which is the diminutive of the Latin word organum, meaning instrument or organ. The L at the end is a suffix used to mean small or tiny. So when we put it all together, organelle literally means little organ, which is exactly what they are for the cell. The organelles are the miniature parts that make up a complex system working within the cell. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about cells. Number 1, your body contains more cells than there are stars in our galaxy. The average adult human is made up of an estimated 30 to 40 trillion cells. That's a number so massive, it can be really hard to comprehend. To put it into perspective, astronomers estimate that our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars. This means that you're walking around with a cellular universe inside you that's roughly 100 times more populated than the galaxy we call home. It's just amazing to think that every one of these tiny structures are working together to make you, you. And it's not just the quantity, but also the diversity. These trillions of cells aren't all the same. There are about 200 different types, each specialized for a specific job. You have brain cells or neurons that transmit information, red blood cells that carry oxygen, and muscle cells that allow you to move. From your skin to your bones, this bustling city of trillions of cells is constantly communicating and collaborating to keep you alive and healthy. Number 2, the person who named the cell was inspired by a monastery. The first person to ever see and describe a cell was the English scientist Robert Hooke in 1665. Using a compound microscope he had built himself, he examined a very thin slice of cork. He observed a honeycomb-like structure of tiny, empty compartments. These little boxes reminded him of the small rooms, or cellae in Latin, where monks lived in a monastery. Because of this resemblance, he called them cells. What Hooke was actually seeing were the rigid cell walls of dead plant tissue, not living cells with all their internal components. It wouldn't be until about 200 years later that scientists developed more powerful microscopes and the cell theory, which states that all living things are made of cells. Still, Hooke's simple observation and the name he chose laid the foundation for the entire field of cellular biology and our modern understanding of life. Number 3. The largest single cell on Earth is the yolk of an ostrich egg. When you think of a cell, you probably imagine something microscopic, but not all cells are too small to see with the naked eye. The single largest cell in the world belongs to the ostrich. While the entire ostrich egg is large, the actual cell is the yolk. Before fertilization, an ostrich egg yolk can be over 5 inches in diameter. It's a massive single cell packed with the nutrients needed to support a potential embryo. On the other end of the spectrum, the smallest cells are a type of bacteria known as Mycoplasma. These tiny organisms can be as small as zero point 0.2 micrometers, which is so small you could fit millions of them on the head of a pin. This incredible range in size, from a visible ostrich egg yolk to a microscopic bacterium, shows the amazing adaptability and diversity of cellular life on our planet. Number 4. Every cell in your body is basically using the same DNA as a blueprint, but they're all looking at different parts. Almost every cell in your body, from the nerve cell in your brain to the skin cell in your arms, contains the exact same set of DNA. This DNA is a massive instruction manual containing all the information needed to build and operate your entire body. So, if they're all looking at the same plans, how do they end up with such different jobs and appearances? The answer is a process called cell differentiation, where the cells only read the parts of the DNA manual relevant to their specific job. Think of it like having a giant cookbook, but one baker is only using chapters on cakes, while another chef is only reading the chapters on soups. Similarly, a muscle cell will activate the genes for contraction, while a neuron will activate the genes for transmitting electrical signals. All the other information in the genes are silenced or ignored. This selective reading of the genetic code is what allows a single fertilized egg to develop into a complex being with hundreds of different types of specialized cells. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: the mitochondria, the power plants in your cells, were probably once independent creatures. Inside almost all your cells are organelles called mitochondria, which are responsible for generating most of the cell's supply of chemical energy. But interestingly, mitochondria have their own separate DNA, completely distinct from the DNA in the cell's nucleus. They also reproduce on their own, dividing independently of the cell they live in. This strange fact has led scientists to a widely accepted idea called the endosymbiotic theory. This theory proposes that billions of years ago, mitochondria were actually free-living independent bacteria. At some point, a larger primitive host cell engulfed one of these bacteria, but instead of digesting it, the two formed a beneficial partnership, symbiosis. The bacterium provided energy for the host cell, and the host cell provided protection and nutrients for the bacterium. Over countless generations, this partnership became permanent, and today, these former creatures live on as the essential powerhouses inside our very own cells. Now for some news you can use. Here's a tip to keep your trillions of cells happy and healthy. Eat a rainbow of fruits and vegetables. This isn't just about creating visually pleasing plates. It's great advice for cellular health. Brightly colored foods like berries, spinach, carrots, and bell peppers are packed with compounds called antioxidants. These antioxidants are like bodyguards for your cells. They help protect your cells from damage caused by unstable molecules called free radicals, which can harm your DNA and other important parts of the cell. Free radicals are a natural byproduct of processes like turning food into energy, but things like pollution and too much sun can create more of them. They're unstable because they're missing an electron, and they try to steal one from nearby molecules in your cells, causing a chain reaction of damage called oxidative stress. Antioxidants are heroes because they have an extra electron to give away. They can donate one to a free radical, neutralizing it and stopping the damaging chain reaction before it starts. And this helps to keep your cells strong and functioning properly. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if it was true that your body completely replaces itself every 7 years. Well, it's a popular idea, and it would be kind of cool, but that's a fallacy, or at least a major oversimplification. While it is true that your body is in a constant state of renewal and many of your cells are replaced regularly, the 7-year timeline is just not accurate. And crucially, not all cells get replaced. The cells lining your intestines are replaced every few days, and your skin cells are replaced every few weeks. On the other hand, some cells, like certain neurons in your brain's cerebral cortex and the cells in the lens of your eyes, are with you for your entire life. So while you are constantly changing, parts of you are truly lifelong companions. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about cells with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.